If he thinks I'm doing something wrong, Mike, I would want him to come in and say, really, you got it. And that's okay. I accept that from my consultants and my people. And if Mike came in and told me, I think you should do this or that, I would listen and very likely listen to him.
All right, folks. Well, that's interesting. And we're back. And before we get to Roger Stone, a reminder, Newsmax TV special coverage of the Republican National Convention begins Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you are watching. And joining us now from said convention in Cleveland is Republican political consultant, 30 years. This guy's been a political advisor and confidant to Donald Trump. He's not right now working for Trump, of course. Roger Stone joins us. He's also the author of the Clinton's War on Women. Roger, good to see you. Glad you're feeling better, my friend. Good to have you here.
Great to be here, Steve. You're right. I have no official or unofficial role in the Donald Trump campaign, but I am an FOT, friend of Trump. I have no portfolio, I have no title, no authority, but I do have input into his campaign in the form of the many professionals that work for him that I have huge respect for: Paul Manafort, Tony Fabrizio, Jason Miller. This is a first-rate team. These guys are winners, and they're going to help Donald Trump get to the White House. All
right, very busy day today. First of all, we had that vote that we talked about at the beginning of the show. 2 votes from the floor, the Never Trumpers and others trying to open everything up, and they failed both times. What was your take on that?
This is a classic case of the mainstream media overstating the case. We kept reading about how the Never Trump faction had hundreds, CNN reported, of delegates who would join this effort to overturn the report of the Rules Committee or overturn the report of the Credentials Committee. They were crushed in committee 112 to 12. They could not muster the votes on the floor today, so they fell back to a delay tactic, demanding roll call votes in an attempt to waste the convention's time when it was very clear that they didn't have anywhere near the votes to overturn the will of the voters in the primaries and the caucuses. So, look, I think this election is very different than any other election. The other presidential elections I've been involved in, and that would be 9 of them, were about Republicans versus Democrats. This election is about the Republican and Democratic establishment together, whose policies have brought this country to its knees, versus Donald Trump and the American people. This is an insider-outsider election, and I think the American people, they're fed up with these kind of political, professional, establishment tricks. They want something different, Steve, and I think that is what the Trump-Pence revolution is all about.
You said earlier to me before we went on that some of those who lost today were sore losers. How so?
Yeah, look, let's take Governor John Kasich, for example. He is the governor here of Ohio, the host state. He is not coming to the convention. He pledged to support the nominee. He signed a pledge on national television. He is not honoring that pledge. So he's acting like a petulant child. He's acting like a sore loser. And as far as I'm concerned, this exempts him from any future role in the leadership of the Republican Party. In all honesty, I hope he runs again so I can go out there in the post-Trump presidency and end his political career. In all honesty, I think he's acting like a misfit, and the people around him, they're losers, and they should bow to the will of the voters. This is not a close call. Donald Trump got 3 million more votes than Ronald Reagan, than Dwight Eisenhower, than Richard Nixon. He has gotten more votes than any Republican nominee in modern political history. So the people have spoken, and they're not going to have their will negated by a small band of rebels who liked the status quo, who thought the Iraq War was a great thing, who thought that George Bush did a great job on the economy. Those people are living in a dream world. This is the new Republican Party, and every successful Republican president, whether it is Lincoln or McKinley or Eisenhower or Nixon or Reagan, has remade the party in his own image. Under Donald Trump, we're going back to being the party of working people. We're going back to Main Street. We're going to leave the country club behind. And there's a small band of people here who just don't like that change.
Roger, briefly, before we get to a call or two, you were out protesting today, and you went to court prior to arriving in Cleveland to fight for that. Talk about it.
Yeah, originally we planned a Stop the Steal rally to protest what I thought would be an effort by the GOP establishment to steal this nomination from the voters. Now, Donald Trump's victory in the primaries was so resounding, he wrapped this up so early, we converted our rally to a celebration of his nomination and a call for a new policy, a policy that puts American interests first. We applied to the city of Cleveland for a permit for a peaceful rally to celebrate the Trump nomination. The city refused to honor that application. We got the ACLU. I know, Steve, you're a charter member, so am I. They went to court on our behalf, and a federal judge ordered the city to give us a permit. Then the city stalled us by saying, well, we needed a union electrician, we needed a union public address system, we need a union constructed stage. We had to go back to court and get another order. This is part of an establishment effort. We see it on Facebook, we see it on Twitter, we see it on the internet, we see it in cyberspace. They want to gag those who disagree with the establishment politics. This is an effort to stop and abridge our right to free speech. There were 2,000 people there today. I was honored to speak. Alex Jones spoke. Kate Komtemko, who you introduced to the American public, was a smash hit. She is the next Liberty Rock superstar.
She sang her songs.
It was a terrific rally. It was a peaceful rally. Yeah, it was great.
Good. Roger, let's get, and congratulations on accomplishing that rally. Let's get to Shirley, who's first up at 877 Newsmax. Shirley from Wellington, Utah. Hello, Shirley. You're on with Steve and Roger Stone.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call.
My pleasure.
I just am really upset about the Republican Party turning their back on Mr. Trump after they all made him sign, and they all signed pledges to back the nominee, and now they're acting like a bunch of crybaby cowards. I agree with Mr. Stone on that. And they wouldn't have liked George Patton at all. He was a man that got things done.
Well, Senator Lee is one of those who's been very vocal about not supporting Trump yet.
Yes, I called him today. I called
look, I believe. I believe.
Go ahead, Roger. Sorry, Shirley. Go ahead, Roger.
Look, I think Senator Lee has guaranteed himself both a Republican primary in his own reelection, and I guarantee you, Steve, a conservative challenger in the fall if he wins that primary. He's part of the old establishment. He obviously likes the status quo. He likes the way things are in America. He thinks maybe jobs are plentiful. Maybe he thinks that ISIS isn't really a threat, or maybe he thinks that the current state of our trade situation, where we're being taken to the cleaners by the Japanese, by the Mexicans, by the Canadians, by all of our trade partners. Perhaps he thinks that's great. This guy is a disgrace to the United States Senate. In all honesty, under the rules of the party, he should be booted from the U.S. Senate caucus.
Shirley, what did he say? What did his office say to you today?
Well, they said that they would pass the information on what I told them, but Mr. Hatch, Senator Hatch, actually has backed Trump now.
Yes, he actually has. Shirley, I'm glad you're so proactive, and thank you for calling. Thank you very much. Let's go to Mark in Springfield, Virginia. Hello, Mark. Thanks for weighing in.
Hi, Steve. Great show, and great job at WMAL last week.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Hey, I wanted to address the violence against our police officers. And the reason for it is we've had race baiters and clowns like Al Sharpton for years spewing all kinds of insightful rhetoric. Al Sharpton should be in jail. He should have been in jail for obstruction of justice at Tawana Brawley, Freddie Fashion Mart, the Duke lacrosse case, Bill Ayers, a weatherman who, after he was acquitted, said, guilty as hell, free as a bird.
Yeah, well, Mark, how do you think it's going to affect this election? And then I want Roger to weigh in on that.
Well, I think we're going to see some violence. But you know what? Louis Farrakhan, remember, he said this last shooter was a member of the Nation of Islam. He said he was looking for 10,000 in a million. So I guess we only have 9,999.
Mark, you got to stick around for my Gimme 5, because I replay my Gimme 5 from last August, where I highlighted that whole speech of his. So stick around. You're a mind reader. Roger, how is this going to... Donald presented himself the other day as the law and order candidate and ticket, and Hillary today said, cops have to stop killing blacks. So how's that going to play out?
Yeah, look, she is pandering and in the most disgusting manner. If you think the crime problem in this country is because of our police, then you are woefully misguided. It is Hillary and Elizabeth Warren and their cohorts are out of the mainstream. I think the rank and file Americans understand the police do a terrific job in this country. They put their lives on the line. Are there a few bad apples? Yes. But you know what? Among the civil rights activists, there's a few bad apples.
Right.
As well.
Roger, I thank you so
look,
much. I got to interrupt. Thank you so much for finding your way up to our booth, and thanks for coming on. We'll speak to you soon. Stay safe out there, my friend. And thank you for calling, folks. More calls coming up. Tom DeLay is next. Don't go away. And then more of your calls on the Steve Malzberg Show.